It's important to understand that Google is constantly adjusting their algorithm. It changes on a fairly regular basis. There's always kind of underlying changes. The core algorithm gets updated roughly 4 to 5 times a year. It kind of varies, and the when it happens varies. There were 4 updates in 2024 as an example. And again, kind of pointing to where Google's focus is. This can kind of help us understand that. This is one of the key tools that SEOs use to understand where their focus is shifting to. They don't provide us with much insight as to what each update does, but there's some things that they give us that we can take. And then also we can analyze our own data to see what we're seeing in terms of where are things working and what is not. August and November updates were very volatile within a certain niche space, but they didn't affect the whole swath of the web the way that the March and December updates did. The March update was actually the largest core update in Google history. It caused a lot of volatility. And the reason was there had been a bloom after AI came to be of really low quality spammy content. I'm sure if you've used the internet at all, you've experienced this trend after ChatGPT came out and other AI tools of just producing endless thousands of pages of content that were virtually useless to users, that were not very high quality and were just heavily spammed by a lot of sites to try and rank. This update was aimed at trying to cull some of those, and it did so very effectively. It deranked and even de-indexed a couple sites, meaning that they were removed from Google entirely that were overly practicing this, which is another thing that can happen. If you violate these terms and Google makes a shift and punishes you for something that you're doing that's kind of spammy or low quality, you can be utterly removed from Google search results. So it's best to try and kind of understand the rules and play by them as opposed to trying to cheat the system, because it can always shift. So that's another thing to keep in mind. When it comes to the December update, which I mentioned, that one was also highly volatile, but it wasn't quite as sweeping as the March update. This was more focused on aligning with where users wanted to go for content. So it was focused on aligning with user intent. We did see, as a result, a lot of people had kind of adjacent keyword positions that weren't perfectly relevant to what they offered. I know we had a lot of clients who ranked for terms that were only sort of relevant to what they did or the content that they produced. A lot of those rankings went away after this update. There was a high focus on tuning search results for relevance, not just generating traffic. And what we've seen is generally higher quality traffic, better rankings, more relevance, but maybe a shift in volume of traffic and also a shift in the number of total rankings. So this one was really focused on directing people to the right content for them. And so you may have even seen yourself, a lot of people across the industry saw their total rankings and their total search traffic plummet in January. And that would have been as a result of the update, which was done in mid-early December. So that's something to keep in mind just in general, is that this changes a lot and that we kind of got to roll with the punches and move with what Google is changing, because it's a very volatile space and we don't get a ton of insight into where they're moving and what we need to be doing tactically. So just generally keep this in mind as you're investing in SEO, that this shifts a lot.